The email sits in my inbox like a stone in my stomach. I read it 3 times, hoping the words will change into something that makes sense. They never do. This year we're doing a quiet family Thanksgiving. Just the 4 of us. You understand, right? Love, Mom. The morning sun pours through my apartment windows, making everything look bright and cheerful. My cat, Mr. Whiskers, rubs against my legs, asking for breakfast. The flowers on my kitchen table smell sweet. But inside, I feel like someone punched me in the chest. I bought a new dress for Thanksgiving dinner. It's hanging in my closet right now, pretty and blue, with little buttons down the front. I was so excited to wear it. My hands shake as I put my phone on the kitchen counter. I look at myself in the shiny toaster. My face looks normal, like nothing bad just happened. But my eyes look sad, even though I'm trying to smile. Just 3 days ago, I was at the store buying special ingredients. Fancy cheese for my aunt. Chocolate cookies for my little cousins. A candle that smells like apple pie for my grandmother. Even a book about gardening for my mom, because she loves flowers. My grandmother called me last Tuesday. Her voice was warm and happy. Sweetie, I can't wait to see you at Thanksgiving. Your mom says you're bringing that yummy apple pie you made last year. I promised her I would. I even practiced making the pie twice this week to make sure it was perfect. Golden and sweet, just the way Grandma likes it. The phone rings, making me jump. My cousin Tommy's name shows up on the screen. Did you get the message too? His voice sounds upset and confused, just like I feel. Mom just told me we're not invited to Thanksgiving anymore. Just got a text message saying they want to keep it small this year. My fingers grip the phone tighter. What do you mean we're not invited? Who else got left out? Everyone, Tommy says, and I can hear the anger in his voice. 15 people from our family got messages today saying not to come. Only my Aunt Jessica and Uncle Mark and their kids get to go. The rest of us aren't good enough anymore, I guess. I close my eyes and remember all the other times I felt left out. When my sister got a bike for her birthday, and I got socks. When Mom came to my sister's school play, but said she was too busy for mine. When Dad taught my sister how to drive, but told me I should take classes instead. Small things that added up over the years like raindrops filling a bucket. Are you still there? Tommy asks. Yeah, I'm here. Just thinking. Some of us are talking about getting together somewhere else, Tommy continues. But I don't know where. Grandma's apartment is too tiny for everyone, and restaurants are all booked up by now. I walk over to my window and look outside. Cars drive by. People walk their dogs. Everything looks normal out there, but nothing feels normal to me. The hurt inside feels like it's growing bigger and bigger. But then something changes. The sun hits my window in a way that makes everything sparkle for just a second. When I blink, I see myself differently in the glass. My back gets straighter. My chin lifts up. The hurt is still there, but something else grows next to it. Something stronger. I pick up my phone and find a number I've only called a few times. Hello, this is Catherine's Catering Company. A friendly voice answers. Hi, my name is Diana Foster. I want to order a Thanksgiving dinner for 30 people. Can you help me? There's a surprised pause. That's a big order for such short notice, Miss Foster. When do you need it? This Thursday. Thanksgiving Day. My voice gets stronger as I talk. I know it's soon, but I really need your help. I want to make a special dinner where everyone feels welcome. When I hang up, something feels different inside me. They made their choice to leave me out without even asking how I felt. Now I'm making my choice. And I think they're going to wish they had been nicer to me. Later that day, the sky starts getting dark as I unlock my storage unit. I haven't been here in a long time. Inside are boxes and boxes of old things from when I was younger. Photos and school papers and memories I packed away because they hurt too much to look at. I pull the string on the light. It flickers and makes everything look strange and shadowy. The boxes have labels written in my handwriting from years ago. Elementary school. Middle school. Family pictures. My hand hovers over the last box. Part of me wants to leave right now and pretend I never came here. But another part of me, the part that called the catering company, makes me open it. The box flaps open and dust floats up into the air. The first photo album sits on top. The cover is old and bent. I sit down on the cold floor, crossing my legs like I used to do when I was little, and start looking through the pages. Every single picture tells the same sad story. My sister Emma is always in the middle, smiling big. My parents stand next to her like she's the most important thing in the world. And I'm always off to the side, like the person taking the photo forgot I was there too. In some pictures, you can only see half of my face because the camera cut me off. "You moved right when I clicked," Mom would always say when I pointed it out. After a while, I stopped saying anything at all. I find pictures from Christmas morning in the year 2000. Emma is opening a huge present, her face glowing with happiness. It's the fancy dollhouse she wanted so badly. 2 pages later, there's one small picture of me holding up new winter boots. My smile looks fake and forced. I remember that morning so clearly. How I hoped and hoped for the telescope I circled in every catalog. How I had to pretend I wasn't sad about getting boring boots instead. Deeper in the box, I find my college acceptance letter. The paper is wrinkled and smoothed out again. The memory comes rushing back like a wave. I ran into the kitchen with the letter in my hand, so excited I could barely breathe. "I got in," I shouted, interrupting Dad's breakfast. I got accepted to State University. Full acceptance into the computer science program. Dad looked up for just a second, then went back to reading his newspaper. "Computer science? That's not a real job for girls. You should study something more practical." Mom patted my shoulder, but didn't look happy. "We just worry about you, honey. Emma's teaching degree will always give her a steady job." I remember folding the letter back into its envelope that morning, putting it in my pocket and walking to the park by myself to cry where nobody could see me. Next, I find a stack of old pay stubs from the 3 different jobs I worked during college. I worked at the campus cafeteria in the mornings, at the library in the afternoons, and I did computer work late at night for extra money. My parents said they couldn't help pay for college, but 6 months later, I found out they borrowed money from the bank to pay for Emma's giant wedding. I only found out when Dad mentioned the new loan during a phone call. "Worth every penny," he said proudly. Every father wants to give his daughter a perfect wedding day. I was their daughter too. That thought still makes my chest hurt. Even now, sitting here, years later, I find a wrinkled loan application between some old notebooks. It's from my second year of college, when I didn't have enough money for classes. I went to the bank to ask for help. The man at the bank was nice, but he said no. "Without someone to co-sign with you, someone with good credit, I can't give you this much money." When I asked my parents to help, Mom clicked her tongue like I had done something wrong. "Borrowing money is bad, Diana. Maybe you should take a break from school and work more hours instead." I never took a break. I just worked and worked until being tired felt normal. My phone buzzes with a call. Grandma Betty's name lights up the screen. "I just heard what happened," she says when I answer. Her voice sounds angry in a way I've never heard before. "Your Aunt Jessica told me they're keeping Thanksgiving small this year. But what she didn't say was that they're leaving out half the family to do it." "It's okay, Grandma," I say automatically. It's what I always say. "It is not okay," Grandma Betty snaps. "I know what they've been doing. It's been happening your whole life, and I should have said something a long time ago." Her words hit me like warm water washing over something frozen. Someone finally sees it. Someone finally notices. "I'm making dinner instead," I tell her, surprised at how steady my voice sounds. "At my house. Everyone's invited." "Your house? The big one you bought last year? The one they never came to visit even though you invited them for the 4th of July. "That's the one, Grandma." There's a pause, then Grandma Betty's voice gets softer. "I'll be there with bells on, sweetheart. And I'm going to make sure everyone knows you're the one who saved Thanksgiving." After we hang up, my phone starts dinging with text messages. Tommy has been telling everyone what happened. Cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone is responding with happy messages. My assistant at work, Maria, has already arranged rides for older relatives who can't drive far. Catherine from the catering company sent a menu that has all our family's favorite foods, but made extra special. I pack the memories back into the box, closing it more carefully than it probably deserves. Tomorrow I'll drive to my big house to get it ready. The next day, the road to my house is lined with huge old trees. Their branches are bare now because it's almost winter. The house appears around the last turn in the driveway. It's enormous, with tall white columns and shiny windows that look like eyes watching everything. $6 million. That's how much it cost when I bought it last year. The number didn't seem real when I signed the papers. Just another big purchase, another investment. I never thought I'd actually use it for a real home. Robert, the man who takes care of the property, meets me at the front door. His wrinkled face smiles at me. Good timing, Miss Foster. Weather Service says it might snow next week. I've checked the backup power system twice, just to be safe. Thank you, Robert. We'll have about 30 people here for Thanksgiving dinner. Do you think the house is ready? If he's surprised, he doesn't show it. I'll make sure everything is perfect. When do you need the bedrooms prepared? I'll get the guest rooms ready myself, I tell him. Later, I stand in the first guest bedroom, putting soft sheets on a big bed. This room is for Grandma Betty. The softest pillows I could find, and a small jar of dried flowers next to the bed because she loves the smell. For Uncle David and Aunt Rose, I put matching blankets on their bed that I ordered from a special shop. For the kids, I've filled baskets with toys and books picked out just for them, based on what they like. I unwrap a small package. 32 name cards for the dinner table, each one written in beautiful handwriting. I touch my own name with my finger, wondering where I would have sat at Mom's table. Probably at the far end, squeezed in somewhere. If I would have been allowed to sit there at all. Standing in the big dining room with its super tall ceiling and huge windows looking out at the pond, I imagine the sound of voices filling the space. Laughing, talking, the sound of forks hitting plates. A question pops into my head that I don't want to think about. Am I doing this because I love my family? Or am I doing this to get back at my parents? Maybe both. The thought should bother me more than it does. I put my own name card at the head of the table and step back, looking at the whole room. For just a second, I imagine what Mom would think if she saw this. The beautiful furniture, the expensive decorations, the careful planning. Let them see what their second-choice daughter built. Let them wonder what else they missed while they were busy ignoring me. I look at my phone for the 100th time today. Mom's latest text glows on the screen like a mean little light. You're embarrassing us with this silly dinner party. People are talking about it. The irony almost makes me laugh out loud. After they left me out of their dinner without caring how I felt, now they're worried about what people think. I set my phone down next to the beautiful name cards. Robert appears in the doorway of the dining room. His face looks worried under his usual calm expression. Miss Foster, the Weather Service is reporting a possible storm coming this afternoon. It could be bad. How bad? I ask, continuing to arrange the place settings on the table. Bad enough to worry about. I've checked the backup generator twice, but with 30 people here. He doesn't finish the sentence. I nod, making a mental note to put extra blankets in every bedroom. Thank you, Robert. Let's hope the storm goes somewhere else. When he leaves, I open my social media app, even though I know I probably shouldn't. Emma's latest post pops up first. So blessed to celebrate with my real family this year. The people who truly matter. Authentic Thanksgiving vibes. Family first always. The comments are full of heart emojis from her husband's family and her neighborhood friends. Nobody mentions the 15 family members who suddenly aren't good enough anymore. My voicemail icon blinks with a message I haven't listened to yet. Dad's voice fills my ear when I press play. It's the same tone he always uses that makes me feel small and stupid. Diana, your mother, and I think you're being childish and dramatic. If you wanted to host your own dinner, you should have talked to us about it instead of just... I delete the message before he finishes talking. The same dad who forgot to come to my college graduation doesn't get to tell me how to communicate with family. Tommy calls a few minutes later. His voice sounds tight and angry. Just so you know, they're calling everyone trying to make people not come to your dinner. They're saying you're just showing off your money. Are people canceling on me? I ask, feeling worried and scared suddenly. The opposite, Tommy says. Everyone is even more determined to come now. Grandma Betty told Aunt Jessica to leave her alone. I think she used some bad words too. The mental image of my sweet 80-year-old grandmother using bad words makes me smile for the first time in days. I walk into my home office, running my fingers along the smooth wooden desk. 5 years ago, this room was a tiny corner in my small apartment. Barely enough space for a laptop and a coffee cup. I worked 16 hours every single day building my software company while everyone from business people to my own dad told me I was wasting my time. The tech market is too crowded, Dad said when I tried to explain my business idea over Christmas dinner. You should get a real job before you lose all your money. Then he turned to Emma and proudly talked about her promotion to assistant manager at the department store where she worked part-time for 3 months. I remember the night everything changed. 3 years after starting the company, living on cheap food and determination, my phone rang at 2 a.m. A big client's computer system was being attacked by hackers. My security program caught what every other security system had missed. Within 1 week, 4 new companies wanted to hire us. Within a year, people wanted to buy my company. The day I signed the papers selling my company for $400 million, I called my parents. Mom answered the phone. She talked about Emma's twin babies for 15 whole minutes. Then she said she had to go before I could tell her my big news. Now I stand in a house worth more than everything they own combined, getting ready to host the family they decided wasn't worth their time. The first tiny snowflakes start to fall as the first guests arrive. Cousin Rachel and her husband pull up in their regular car. 3 kids tumble out, shouting with excitement when they see the huge house. Is this a castle? 7-year-old Lily asks, her eyes huge and amazed. Just a very big house, I tell her, kneeling down to her level even though I'm wearing my nice dress. More cars appear on the winding driveway as the snow gets thicker. Robert and his helpers assist older relatives up the steps while Catherine directs her catering team in final preparations. The house fills with voices, laughter, the smell of rosemary and stuffing. I'm arranging flowers by the front door when a noise makes me look up. Grandma Betty stands in the doorway. Her silver hair is dusted with snowflakes, and her cheeks are pink from the cold and something that looks like defiance. Your mother thinks I'm in bed with a headache, she announces, handing her coat to Robert. I'd rather be here with people who understand what family really means. She cups my face in her soft, papery hands. They've been treating you like this since you were little, you know. I should have said something sooner. The simple acknowledgement almost breaks me. All these years, I thought nobody noticed. Within an hour, the house overflows with life. Children race through hallways that have never heard such happy noise. Cousins show up with extra dishes and decorations. Tommy organizes a system for older relatives to rest between socializing. In the kitchen, Catherine orchestrates a feast that honors our family traditions while making everything feel special. The apple pie I perfected sits next to her elevated versions of classic recipes. When I thank her for helping with such short notice, she simply says, "Creating joy through food is why I became a chef. This is what matters." The snow gets heavier through the afternoon, transforming into a real blizzard. Windows rattle with wind as we gather at the dining table. 32 chairs, each one filled. Nobody excluded. Nobody forgotten. Uncle David has just stood up to make a toast when the lights flicker once, twice, then everything goes dark. Generator will kick in. Robert calls from somewhere in the darkness. But seconds turn into a full minute with no power. Instead of everyone panicking, something amazing happens. Someone starts humming a song. You are my sunshine. Another voice joins in, then another. Cell phone flashlights illuminate faces around the table. Grandma Betty's shaky but clear voice rises above the others. Tommy and his teenage sons pass out candles from the emergency supply. In the dancing candlelight, I see something I've been searching for my whole life. Real connection. Not the carefully staged family image my parents always maintained, but something genuine, imperfect, and beautiful. When the generator finally sputters to life 20 minutes later, bringing back light and heat, part of me wishes it hadn't worked. In that candlelit darkness, we found what had been missing at my parents' perfectly lit table. Robert appears next to me. Storm knocked out power all across the county. Reports say your parents' neighborhood will be without electricity for at least 8 hours. Everything okay over there? Are they okay? The question comes automatically despite everything that happened. Generator at their house is working from what I hear, Robert says. But I thought you should know they've got just the 7 of them in that big house. While we've got 32 people warm and fed and happy. As I look around at the faces of the people my parents decided weren't good enough for their table, I realize something important. They thought leaving me out was taking something away from me. Instead, they gave me the final push I needed to create something better than what they were offering. The lights illuminate my family, chosen and blood, filling my home with more warmth than any generator could provide. The next day, my phone buzzes with notifications as I refill Grandma Betty's coffee cup. Winter sunshine floods through the house's big windows, making long rectangles of light across the living room where several relatives are still hanging around eating breakfast pastries. The blizzard has passed, leaving behind perfect white snow that sparkles under the morning sun. Someone's very popular today, Grandma Betty says, her eyes twinkling over her mug. I glance at my phone, surprised to see dozens of social media alerts. At the top, a notification says my nephew Jake tagged me. Look at our amazing Thanksgiving celebration with Aunt Diana. When I open it, my breath catches in my throat. Jake posted a whole bunch of photos from yesterday. The magnificent feast covering the entire length of my dining room table. Candles glowing as family members raise their glasses in a toast. Cousins laughing by the fireplace when the power went out. The house looks magical, captured in the evening snow with every window glowing warm against the darkness. Did you see what Jake posted? Cousin Rachel asks, coming downstairs with her phone. It's going viral in our hometown social media groups. I scroll through more posts. Cousin Tommy shared a video of everyone singing by the fireplace, voices blending together while snow fell outside. Aunt Helen uploaded a stunning photo of the dessert table with Catherine's apple cranberry tart looking perfect. In almost every photo, the joy is obvious and real. But I noticed something else too. You're barely in any of these pictures, Rachel observes, looking over my shoulder. I nod. I didn't need to be. The gathering speaks for itself. My phone rings. Rachel's eyebrows lift as she sees the screen. Emma's husband, she whispers before quietly walking away. Hello, Mark. I answer, moving toward the kitchen. Diana. His voice sounds strained and uncomfortable. I just wanted to say yesterday looked really nice. It was, I reply simply. He clears his throat nervously. I accidentally tag your parents in a comment on Jake's post. Emma's pretty upset about it. Understanding dawns on me. I see. I notice Mom called this morning 5 times. He pauses awkwardly. People are asking questions now. After we hang up, I go back to my social media feed. The situation becomes immediately clear. Mark's innocent comment. Looks amazing. Wish we could have been there too. Tag my parents, letting their friends discover the other Thanksgiving they knew nothing about. Within hours, the posts have spread beyond just family. My parents' neighbors have commented with surprise. Church members are asking pointed questions. What makes it worse for them is the unavoidable visual comparison someone created. Someone made a side-by-side image. My vibrant feast with 32 happy people versus what appears to be my parents' nearly empty table with just 7 people, including Emma's family. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. Which gathering truly represented family? Your mother called me, Grandma Betty says, joining me by the window. She's quite upset about all this. What did you tell her? Grandma Betty's smile holds decades of opinions she kept quiet, finally finding a voice. I told her it was the first time our family felt complete in years. My phone continues buzzing with notifications. Uncle David posted about the best Thanksgiving in memory. Cousins tag each other with messages of gratitude and thanks. Catherine shared professional photos of her food creations, tagging my company with high praise for the hostess. Then someone innocently comments on the original post. Why were Diana's parents there? Seems weird they'd miss such an amazing family gathering. The question hangs in digital space with no answer. By noon, my parents start calling. I let it ring to voicemail 3 times before finally answering on the 4th call. How could you do this to us? My mother's voice shakes with anger rather than sadness. Do what exactly? I keep my tone calm and neutral, watching snowflakes begin to fall again outside. Throw some expensive party just to make us look bad. You're just showing off all your money. The accusation would have hurt me a year ago. Now I simply let the feeling pass through me without sticking. I only made another dinner because you told me I wasn't invited to yours. You know that wasn't. She stops talking abruptly as my father's voice rumbles in the background. Put him on speaker, I suggest calmly. There's a fumbling sound, then my father's voice comes through. Diana, this has gotten way out of hand. Maybe we should talk about this face to face. We can talk about whatever you want, I reply. But first, I need to clarify something. 2 months ago at Emma's birthday dinner, I mentioned selling my company. Nobody asked a single question. Nobody seemed to hear me at all. Silence stretches between us like a rubber band pulled tight. I sold my software company for $400 million, Dad. But when I mentioned it at dinner, nobody listened. Nobody cared. I hear his sharp breath, then stammering. I didn't realize. I know, I say quietly. You never did notice. As I end the call, Tommy appears with a fresh pot of coffee. Everything okay? I look around at the family members still in my home. People who chose to stay an extra day, who helped clean up without being asked, who treated my home with respect and me with genuine interest. Actually, I say with unexpected lightness, I think things are finally okay. For the first time in my life, I don't need my parents' approval anymore. I've built something better. The doorbell's unexpected ring cuts through my quiet Sunday morning. I look at my phone. No texts, no calls saying anyone was coming. My stomach tightens as I walk to the peephole. Mom and Dad stand in the hallway. Mom is clutching an old photo album to her chest like it's protecting her. I think about pretending I'm not home, but that's the old Diana. The woman who sold her company for hundreds of millions doesn't hide anymore. I open the door and stand firmly in the doorway. This is a surprise. We were in the neighborhood, Dad says, his voice unnaturally bright and fake cheerful. Thought we'd drop by. Mom holds up the album. Found some old photos I thought you might want to see. The practiced casualness in their voices tells me this visit was planned and calculated. 3 days after they discovered how rich I am through social media, they show up on my doorstep. The timing isn't exactly subtle. I step back, letting them enter. Come in. They walk into my space carefully, their eyes getting big at the floor-to-ceiling windows showing the harbor. Mom runs her finger along my marble countertop while Dad examines the original painting on my dining room wall. Quite a place you have here, he says, fishing for information. I don't respond to the obvious bait. Instead, I gesture toward the living room. Would you like to sit down? They sit on my white sofa, suddenly looking small against the backdrop of my success. Mom opens the photo album on the coffee table. Remember this birthday? You were turning 8. She points to a photo where little Emma stands center in the picture, blowing out candles on a cake while I'm barely visible at the edge, my face half-cropped from the image. I remember, I say quietly. That was the year you forgot to get me a cake for my birthday 3 months later. Grandma Betty made cupcakes instead. Mom's smile falters and fades. That's not. It is, I interrupt, my voice steady and calm. I have journal entries that prove it. I walk to my office and return with a storage box. The label reads simply, evidence. I've been collecting it for years, not for this confrontation necessarily, but for my own sanity. To confirm I wasn't imagining the pattern of neglect. What's all this? Father asks, his forehead creasing with confusion. Documentation. I sit across from them and begin removing items methodically one by one. My college acceptance letter. I place the wrinkled paper on the table. You never came to my graduation ceremony. Emma's volleyball tournament was that same weekend. Mom shifts uncomfortably in her seat. That tournament was important for her future. My bank statements from college. I set down a thick folder. 3 jobs to cover tuition after you refused to co-sign my student loans. We couldn't afford to take on more debt back then. Father protests weakly. The same exact year you refinance the house for Emma's wedding. I keep my voice factual, not angry. My therapist I've been seeing for 4 years taught me that approach. Their eyes dart to each other in that way I've seen my whole life. The quick, silent conversation about what excuse to make. What story to tell to make themselves look better. Diana, Father leans forward with his hands clasped together. We should start fresh. The past is the past. We're family. We're family, Mom adds, reaching for my hand across the table. I don't extend mine to meet hers. Father clears his throat importantly. Actually, we've been talking. We know you've done well for yourself now. His voice drops to what he probably thinks is a confidential, intimate tone. If you ever need any financial advice, I have a friend who specializes in wealthy individuals. There it is. The real reason for their visit laid bare. I have a team of financial advisors already, but thank you for the offer. I fold my hands in my lap calmly. I don't need your approval anymore. But I do require your respect moving forward. Mom's face flushes red. We've always respected you. I pull out a small journal with a faded rainbow cover. August 12th, 1998. Mom said my science project was me showing off. Emma got a new dress just for looking pretty on picture day. I flip through pages. November 30th, 2001. Dad laughed when I said I wanted to learn programming. Said computers are for boys who can't play sports. The silence that follows feels heavy with 3 decades of small cruelties and dismissals. My phone rings suddenly, startling all 3 of us. Emma's name flashes on the screen. The timing is so perfect it almost seems planned, though I know it isn't. It's your sister, I say, answering and putting it on speaker without any warning.
Hi, Emma.
I'm with Mom and Dad right now. A pause on the line.
Oh.
They're there. Her voice sounds strange and hesitant. They brought photo albums. I keep my tone completely neutral. Diana, Emma says suddenly, taking a deep breath. I need to tell you something. I've been thinking a lot since Thanksgiving. She takes an audible breath. I've always been jealous of you. You're smarter, braver, more independent. Being the perfect daughter was just how I hid my fear of not being good enough. Mom's gasp is sharp and painful. Her hand flies up to cover her mouth. What are you talking about? Father demands, leaning toward the phone aggressively. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Emma says, her voice gaining strength and conviction. You've pitted us against each other our entire lives. I got attention for being obedient and compliant. Diana got punishment for being exceptional and different. The doorbell rings again. This time I know who it is before I even open the door. Grandma Betty stands in the hallway. Her silver hair is swept into its usual neat bun. Her eyes are clear with purpose and determination. I followed them here, she says without preamble, walking past me into the apartment. She stops cold when she sees my parents on the sofa, the evidence box between them on the coffee table. Good. You're finally having this conversation that's 30 years overdue. Mother, this isn't your concern. My mom starts to protest. I've watched this happen for decades, and I won't be silent anymore. Grandma's voice carries the quiet authority of someone who has chosen her moment very carefully. Every single time Diana achieved something extraordinary, you found a way to diminish it. Every time she needed support, you were conspicuously absent. Every time. We gave both our daughters everything they needed. Father protests, standing up from the sofa.
No.
3 voices say it in perfect unison. Mine, Grandma's, and Emma's over the phone speaker. I watch as something finally breaks in my mother's carefully maintained facade. Her shoulders slump forward and real tears, not the manipulative kind I've seen before when she wanted something, but genuine tears slide down her cheeks. I didn't realize, she whispers hoarsely. I didn't see what I was doing. It's not an apology. Not yet anyway. But it's the first crack in a wall that stood between us my entire life. I don't rush to comfort her. That version of me is gone forever. Instead, I sit up tall, surrounded by my support system. Grandma physically present beside me, Emma surprisingly allied from afar over the phone. Now you do see it, I say simply and clearly. So, what happens next is entirely your choice to make. Snow drifts against the windows of my New Hampshire estate, transforming the landscape into a perfect winter wonderland. Christmas lights twinkle along the roof edges, reflecting off the pristine white blanket covering the 40 acres of property. Inside, fires crackle in 3 different fireplaces while the scent of pine and cinnamon fills every room. A whole month has passed since Thanksgiving. A month of careful text messages, tentative phone calls, and one tearful coffee meeting with my sister Emma. Now I watch through the bay window as 2 cars pull into the circular driveway. My parents step out from one car, their movements slow and hesitant. Emma's family spills from the other vehicle, her husband Mark wrangling their 3 children as they dash toward the front door with excitement. My fingers tighten around my coffee mug. They're actually here. When the doorbell chimes, I open it myself rather than letting Robert handle it. My mother stands there with a foil-covered dish, her eyes widening as she takes in the grand foyer with its soaring ceiling and magnificent spiral staircase that seems to reach the sky. "Welcome," I say, stepping back to let them inside. The children barrel past me, squealing with delight at the 15-foot Christmas tree dominating the great room. "We brought green bean casserole." Mom offers the dish like it's a peace offering. I take it with a smile that feels only slightly forced. "Perfect. The kitchen's this way." Conversation starts awkwardly and stiff, but gradually thaws as everyone settles into the space. The children's laughter echoes through rooms that once stood completely silent, filling uncomfortable pauses with their innocent joy and energy. Later, I find myself alone in the kitchen with Mom, unpacking serving dishes and preparing food. Without asking permission, she rolls up her sleeves and begins arranging appetizers on platters, working alongside me rather than telling me what to do. "Your home is truly beautiful," she says quietly, not looking at me. "I never really understood what you built for yourself all these years." I glance up, meeting her eyes directly. "Thank you for coming today. I know it wasn't easy." In the dining room, Catherine has outdone herself once again. The long mahogany table stretches beneath sparkling crystal chandeliers, each place setting personalized and special. No one sits at the head this time. The circular arrangement ensures everyone occupies equal space, equal importance. Dad pauses before taking a seat, looking around at the gathered family with something like wonder in his eyes. "Before we eat, I'd like to say something." He clears his throat nervously. "To learning from our mistakes and doing better." Glasses rise around the table amid murmured agreement and support. When I look up, I find Mom's hand resting lightly on my shoulder, a touch so tentative and uncertain it might float away at any moment. After dinner, Emma finds me by the Christmas tree, its colorful lights casting dancing shadows across our faces. "Thank you," she whispers sincerely, "for giving the kids their whole family back together." My phone buzzes with a text from Tommy. "Proud of you for giving them a second chance. That takes real strength." I smile, glancing around the room with satisfaction. Catherine chats animatedly with my uncles while Robert, no longer just the caretaker but part of our circle now, helps Grandma Betty with her dessert plate. Even the catering staff, I insisted, join us rather than work alone on Christmas, mingle comfortably with relatives, laughing and sharing stories. When glasses are raised for one final toast of the evening, Mom stands up slowly. Her voice wavers but grows stronger with each word she speaks. "To new beginnings. And to our extraordinary daughter, who showed us what family really means." Later, as snow falls softly outside the windows, I stand in the doorway watching my now complete family. Children doze peacefully on laps, adults share stories and memories, and laughter ripples through the room like music. The truth settles in my heart like a warm ember glowing steadily. Family isn't just about blood relations. It's about the people who truly value you, respect you, see you for who you really are. Being excluded from their table gave me the chance to create my own, where everyone is welcomed and respected equally. Next Thanksgiving, I'll make the gathering even larger and more inclusive. Because everyone deserves a seat at the table. Everyone deserves to feel like they belong. And I'll never forget that lesson.
The end.